Beyond the agreements at the moment,
Yeah.
What successes, tangibles can we point to these last 2 years, to inspire hope for the future?
Well, there's a lot of tangibles. For my ministry, I have to speak from where we were at the very beginning. When we came at the very beginning...
It's a new ministry, by the way.
Yeah, apart from even being a new ministry, not much had been done, even with the component that was not a new ministry. You would know that the component of tourism and the component of culture already existed. But I feel that in the past it existed obviously under information and somewhat got bogged down under information. So a lot of what needed to be done in order to allow the industry to flourish and to grow, right, had not been done. So the approach that I had was to really start from ground zero. We did a deep dive into the benchmark countries that have used culture and creative industry to grow their economy, to grow their society, to have a soft power approach to grow their visibility globally, to change narrative about themselves. And I will always point to South Korea, that have been able to completely change the narrative about who they are and to inject their forms of expression through the creative industry. So what we did was a deep dive into some of these countries with the BCG. They did a fantastic report for us, and we now brought that into Nigeria and we localized it. They say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we took enough time to do a proper assessment, and we put everything in motion, policies, intellectual property policy, to imagine that the creative economy did not have an updated, robust intellectual property policy in and of itself shows that we had not really done what was proper for the industry in the first place. So we put all that in place. Now we're at the implementation stage. Like I said, Abuja Creative City, we have been able to raise funding for the creators, and we have done that on our own, using the interest that the global community has in Nigerian identity, right, and Nigerian creative industry. So we have been able to get funding from Afrexim Bank. $200 million we have raised for Afrexim Bank. We have already started the process of application. We have called out for creatives to apply. We already have a number of applications. That was done on the 1st of June. And hopefully the funding will go straight into the creators. We've been able to raise 100 million euro to go into this infrastructure. This is the infrastructure that I was talking about with the creative, with the cultural hub and the creative hubs that we are going to put in one in every six geopolitical zones, yeah? Right? So you have that funding that we've been able to deliver. The policy-wise, we've been able to finish intellectual property, which was key. That has already been packaged for the Federal Executive Council, and hopefully once it's presented at the next Federal Executive Council in conjunction with the Ministry of Trade and Investment and the Ministry of Justice, we'll be able to deliver that. Then we have the cultural policy as well that has been obsolete and outdated. We have worked with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group to be able to package that together. So we have done a lot in terms of putting a framework together, and it is now about implementation. We have announced just recently that we're going to have the Abuja Pavilion, which is Abuja Museum, that we have just found a location for that, a fantastic location. That project will start.
Where's the location?
Well, the location is actually in the sports arena. Oh. That is the fantastic location.
The National Stadium?
Yes, in the States, in the Moshood Abiola Arena. That's where the location is. Because we have found, and we're working together with the Sports Commission, we have found a fantastic plot of land in addition to the Abuja Creative City that we're also doing, which is in Edu. That has already been launched.